How to deal with thoughts of relapsing. What were your hobbies when you were young? How do you not let the fear food ruin the rest of your day? How did you cope with weight gain? Do you remember why you fully chose recovery? Your eating disorder story. Hi guys! So it's 3:45. The sun is gonna set so soon because it sets ridiculously early at this time of year. Probably in the next half an hour it will start setting. So I need to try and film this video before the sun goes down because this lighting is needed. I thought today I would do a Q&A video, kind of getting to know me a bit more, but also some recovery advice too. Oh, if you've never seen my face before, my name's Megan. I've been in anorexia recovery for the past year and a little bit, maybe like a year and a week. I have a TikTok account called Recovery with Megan, like my YouTube, and I've been posting on there for a year as well. And I basically just share my recovery wisdom. I challenge fear foods. I answer questions if anyone has any questions. Oh, also, can you see the Christmas tints on in the background? This is a tangent. Why am I already going on a tangent? We finished college on the 8th of December, so we basically missed the whole of Christmas, so November is our December in my head, so we've decorated for Christmas. Anyway, yeah, that's me. I'm in recovery and I give advice. I put on my Instagram, because I also have an Instagram, at Recovery with Megan. I put on my story just like a question box for you to ask me any questions for a Q&A video. And my last video I did one with my brother, I did a Q&A with my brother. But I also have questions that are just specifically for me. Yeah, so you can find out a bit more about me and my past, maybe. I might bring some of that in, but not just to do with my eating disorder. Some things are just to do with me. And there's lots of questions asking for advice and things. So I thought I'd just dive in. Okay, how to deal with thoughts of relapsing. Okay, so when I have thoughts about relapsing, because sometimes they do pop into my head, that evil little voice tends to come back sometimes and just like to put a little word in. I ignore it. I ignore it because I know that my life is so much better now than it used to be. I think of all the things that I have in my life now that I didn't before because I chose recovery. You just have to remind yourself that life is so much better. Life is so much better when you escape this horrible brain and you learn to be kind with yourself. And just know that no amount of weight that you lose is going to make you happy. Losing weight is not the answer. It's not the key to happiness. It will never be enough. I just have to keep reminding myself of that. No matter how far I went in my eating disorder, it wasn't enough. And I always wanted to go further. So you just have to nip it in the bud and just think, no, I'm okay as I am. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm free. And just think of all the amazing things that recovery has given you and recovery will give you if you keep on going. There's no point going backwards. It's just a never-ending cycle. It's horrible. You won't be happy. You just won't be happy. You don't have enough energy. I just reminded myself of all of those things, basically. That was kind of a really brief summary. What were your hobbies when you were young? So I'm at drama school at the moment, so I've always been into like dancing, singing, acting. I did like theatre school since I was like 6, I want to say. I think I was 6. I also did tennis. I played tennis every week from the age of 6 to till I got ill actually, so about 13. And I did go back a couple of times, but it kind of stopped by 13, but I can still play tennis. I did swimming, I loved sports, but musical theatre, you know? And I still carry that on now, so that's nice. Hi, I'm sorry, I just really need to quickly interrupt myself and just tell you something really important. I'm not sure if you've seen on my TikTok, but I talk about this all the time. And I wouldn't promote something I didn't believe in. I just wanted to let you know that because Black Friday is in November, Free Soul are doing a campaign for the whole of November. If you sign up and subscribe to these greens, you can get 25% off, not just your first order, but forever. So I'll put the link in the description to the Free Soul website. If you use the code Recovery with Megan, you get an extra 10% off your first order. So that's 35% off for the first time and 25% off for the rest, which is genuinely insane. They've never had a sale like it. So if you're contemplating getting some greens, I would strongly recommend getting them this month from Free Soul and using Recovery with Megan in capitals. I'm not sure if the capitals actually mean anything, but maybe try both, I don't know. They've honestly helped me so much just to feel good in myself. I wake up and it's just a moment of self-care where I can be like, I'm gonna have my greens and I'm gonna look after myself. They taste so good. They taste of mango squash. There's a stigma that greens just taste horrible. These taste so nice. Like genuinely, they taste of squash. And it just makes you feel good. Like you feel like that girl just walking around like with my greens. Like, and yeah, like I said, it's like a moment of self-care, a moment for myself. So yeah, I just want to let you know that if you were thinking about buying greens this November, you need to get them because they are cheaper than ever, genuinely. I'll just pop a little thing here. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in. Megan, who was just talking, please carry on talking, and I'm sorry to interrupt. But I'll put it down in the description if you do want to go and buy it and use my code. Love you. Let me find another one. I didn't have my eating disorder for as much time as others, so I don't feel valid and ready to recover. Any tips? You will never feel ready to recover. No one feels ready. There's no like minimum, maximum length that you need in order to start a recovery. If you're having those thoughts, you need to get out of that headspace, and recovery is the only option. You won't feel valid because that's your eating disorder trying to keep you trapped. Your eating disorder will tell you that you haven't gone far enough, but it always will. No matter how far you go, you will feel like you haven't gone far enough. So there's no point trying to listen to it, and there's no point trying to go further to feel validated because you won't. It's a mental illness, and it's horrible. And it will just want more and more and more from you. And that's the sad truth. So do not think about how long you've had it, and don't compare yourself to anyone else, because we all have our own struggles. And we all deserve recovery. How do you not let the fear food ruin the rest of your day? I simply can't function after. I used to have this a lot more than I do now. I think it really is about challenge repeating and just continuing to challenge new things. At the beginning, it was so scary. I was like, I can't do this. And I used to just constantly be thinking about it after and feeling so guilty. Distraction is really good when you have that. Just completely taking your mind off the subject, focusing on something completely different. Just keep reminding yourself what you're doing it for, that you're doing it for a good cause. The reason why you're facing all of these fears is so that you can be free, so that you don't have to be trapped anymore. So just keep remembering the positives and the reason why you're doing it, because you don't want to be controlled by this voice anymore. So just keep reminding yourself of that, I guess. And then with time, it becomes so much easier. Like now, I still get the thoughts, and some are definitely harder than others. I guess it's just the mind over matter thing. You just have to remember what you're doing it for. I've just realised I don't have any earrings in and I feel naked. Hang on. That's better. Let's continue. How are you really? I'm good. Guys, I am good. I spoke about this in my TikTok the other day, but I will say it on here as well. I had 2 weeks off for half term, right? Didn't really wear tight clothes, didn't look in a mirror as much, didn't wear a leotard, blah, blah, blah. Coming back after 2 weeks and having to kind of restart that process again has been tough. I find myself scrutinising what I see in the mirror. And sometimes it can affect me and upset me, but I don't let it go any further than that. But bad body image comes and goes. Everyone has those days. Even people without an eating disorder have those days when they just don't feel as good. And that's okay. I have to keep reminding myself that these bad body image days do not come as often as they did when I was trapped in my eating disorder. They come far less frequently. Because I had to gain weight, obviously, to become healthy, I just have to keep reminding myself that that was necessary. And think of all of the things that recovery has given me and that weight gain has given me. I'm dancing the best I ever have. Physically and mentally, I am so much stronger than I was, so I just keep reminding myself of that. But honestly, I'm doing really well. How did you cope with weight gain? So that kind of links on to what I said before. I kind of just knew that it had to happen at some point. I remember always saying this quote to myself of, if not now, when? I wasn't happy in the body that I was in when I was at my lowest weight. If I wasn't happy then, and sometimes I'm not happy now, it's not my body that's the problem, my mind is. Because no matter what my body looks like, I'll always find some way to be unhappy. It's not my body that's the problem, it's my mind. So I don't need to fix my body or change my body. I need to sort out what's going on up here. So I kept reminding myself of that. I also kept saying, this is weight that I need to gain. In order to do what I want to do in my life, in order to be free, I need to gain this weight. Because the further away from healthy you are in terms of weight, the more you get the thoughts. Like, that's scientific. I'm not going to talk about BMIs. I don't believe in BMIs. I don't like them. But the lower you are, the more thoughts. So you have to know that weight gain is going to decrease those thoughts. And it really does. I can promise you, promise you, from experience, I have way less thoughts than I did before. And it's all about rewiring your brain to realise that weight gain isn't bad. Weight gain isn't bad. In fact, it's completely necessary. And you're not gaining weight, you're restoring. This is weight that you were never meant to lose in the first place. You're getting back to healthy, and that's what you need to keep remembering. You are getting your life back. This weight gain that you're scared about is helping you to live again. And the life that you're living now, if you're underweight, you are surviving, not living. I'm sorry, you are surviving, not living. And you are trapped, and you don't want to be trapped anymore. You want to have fun. And with weight gain comes all of that freedom. So you just need to keep reminding yourself of the positives and know that it's nothing to be feared. Trust me, from experience, I was so scared to gain weight just because that was what my eating disorder always told me was bad. But it's not bad, and I've never been more happy in my life. And look where I am. This time a year ago, I was literally crying on the kitchen floor. And now I'm in a flat, I'm at drama school. Life is great, and all because I chose recovery. So just keep remembering that. Do you remember why you fully chose recovery? I've been half in for a while. I do remember why. I will always believe that the way to recovery is you need to have some sort of motivation or some motive. You need to have a reason very, very strong in your mind. And that can be anything. Everyone will have a reason somewhere that they can dig out and think, I need to get better for this specific purpose. It just keeps you pushing through. So for me, this time last year, I was going through the process of applying for drama schools. Musical theatre is something that I have always wanted to do, always. It's been my passion forever. And I got told by my dance teacher that I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't start getting better, because I wasn't mentally or physically strong enough. I was weak. Physically and mentally weak. So I knew that something needed to change because this was my dream forever. And to hear that it might not happen because of my eating disorder broke me. And I thought, I need to get rid of this. I need to. Everyone will have a motivation, but in order for recovery to be successful, you have to want to get better. People can't recover for you. You have to want to do it yourself. And I think as well as like wanting to apply to drama school and everything, I also kind of came to the realization, like, what am I doing with my life? If I don't start recovering, I am going to be like this forever. Completely trapped, never leaving home, unable to make myself a meal. There were so many things that I was unable to do. And I just thought, what is my life? I need to get on and I need to change something. Something needs to change because I'm not happy. Something needed to change, and that change was recovery. And I have this friend who is part of Alcoholics Anonymous, and they did the 12-step program. So as well as Alcoholics Anonymous, there's also an Eating Disorders Anonymous, which is kind of sparked off of that. And because they kind of overlap a little bit, he was able to pass on his knowledge from Alcoholics Anonymous to me struggling with an eating disorder, because all addiction is very similar. So he helped me with that. He kind of taught me about like step one and how to actually start recovering. And I will always remember this quote, which is step one of Alcoholics Anonymous. But I'm going to swap out alcohol to eating disorder because that's the step one of Eating Disorders Anonymous. We admitted we were powerless over our insane eating practices, that our lives had become unmanageable. And once you can admit that first step, you realise that you need to change. You realise that you're powerless. I used to feel that my eating disorder was keeping me in control. And after I heard that quote, I kind of understood that actually it's the other way around, and my eating disorder was completely in control of me. And my life had become completely unmanageable. I couldn't go to school, I couldn't dance, I didn't even want to get up in the morning, I didn't want to get out of bed, and I was just constantly consumed by wanting to exercise and restrict. It was not a way to be living, and so I kind of really took that quote with me. And he will always have such a special place in my heart because I think he was the one that kickstarted my recovery. He was actually from my dance school, but he knew I was struggling and he helped, and I honestly owe so much to him. I can't even remember what the question was. I go on tangents, I'm not sure if you're aware. Oh yeah, do you remember why you fully chose recovery? Yeah, because I realised that this was no way to live my life, and I had the motivation. And the motive of drama school, and I wanted to get better. I was like, I'm out. I've done this for long enough. I want my life back. So yeah. This one says your eating disorder story. I think I might go into it a little bit. I just want to put this in here. If listening to other people's stories triggers you a bit, maybe skip on a little bit. I might put a timestamp in of where to skip to. But I won't go into detail, I promise. But just if you do find yourself comparing, maybe just skip ahead, because eating disorders should not be compared. but I know that they sometimes can be competitive, and I wouldn't want that at all. My eating disorder story, I think it kind of runs, I think after doing therapy and everything and kind of working out where it stemmed from, I think there is definitely a genetic vulnerability within my family. A lot of my family members have struggled with food. It's just definitely a biological thing. But then I guess there were obviously some triggers, something that kind of triggered it to start and actually come about. Well, Harry reminded me the other day that we watched this obesity crisis documentary. I don't really remember that, but apparently after that was when I first started making lists of things to restrict, like foods that were known as bad, which are not bad. There is no such thing as bad foods, can I just say? Food has no moral value. But anyway, yeah, I started making these lists of like, it would be like things to avoid this month, blah, 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 blah. And they kind of, I was maybe 12 or 13, I think maybe 12 and a half, 13, I'm not sure. I wanted to change my body. I wanted to be skinnier. I wanted to be like my friends. I always felt like I was bigger. Looking back retrospectively, I don't think I was, but I just always had it in my head. Even from like, I don't remember a time when I would look in the mirror and not think I was fat. I always wanted to be skinnier. I remember going to a birthday party when I was like 6 and looking in the mirror and not wanting to wear this outfit because my legs looked too big. Do you know what I mean? And I was 6. So I think it's always been slightly like a little thing in my brain. So that kind of happened. And then obviously with dance and everything, I think being in a leotard and comparing myself to everyone there, that kind of triggered me as well. I wanted to be the smallest dancer. I think there was a lot of stress going on at the time. My mum and dad's work wasn't going very well, and maybe that might have impacted it because that was kind of around the time that it started. So I don't know, I don't really remember. I was so young. But that was like when I was around 12 and making those lists. And I also, when I was making those lists, started exercising quite a lot as well. But basically the list just got more and more obsessional. And my mum just noticed that I was restricting certain food groups, restricting certain foods. I had a lot of willpower, which at first was praised, and then they realised actually this is kind of unhealthy. They kind of realised, okay, this isn't right. So yeah, my mum was like, okay, Megan, there's clearly something going on here. She took me to the doctors and I got referred to the eating disorder unit, and I was so confused. I was like, I do not have an eating disorder. And they diagnosed me with anorexia, and I was like, oh my God. And I had to start like a meal plan and everything, which I'd never done before, which was terrifying. This was maybe when I was 14, 15. So it had been going on for a couple of years now, and I had loads of rules and everything. I had to be taken out of dance, so I always wanted to recover, to go back to dance. So again, I had a motivation. And then it all started going a bit wrong when lockdown hit and all my dance classes stopped. We were preparing for a show, it got cancelled, everything stopped, and I was stuck in the house. And I just thought, well, my motivation's gone. There's no drive, there's nothing for me to work towards, there's no reason for me to recover, we're stuck inside. So I just started restricting more and more. I did more and more exercise, and it got really bad. Lockdown was probably, it was the lowest point of my life. I ended up in an inpatient unit, but as soon as I got there, I kind of had a flick in me, like, I can't stay here. I hate it here. I was such a family, like, home girl. I was 15 years old, 3 hours away from my home. And I hated it. I missed my family. I cried every single day, every single hour. In fact, probably every single minute I was in tears. So I just thought, I need to get out. And I kind of guess I ate to get out instead of eating to get better and like working on getting better. I just wanted to get out, and I got discharged too early. I was in there for 3 months. I think I had physically weight restored, but mentally no work had been done. So obviously when I came out of hospital, it all started going wrong again. Then throughout 2021 and 2022, I was still part of like the eating disorder service from where I'm from, and they were trying to get me better, but I had I did not want to get better. I was just kind of stuck in this half recovered thing, like more on a downwards than an upwards. And then this time last year, I just threw the towel in, and I was like, I can't live like this anymore. And now I'm here in my flat. But yeah, that's my story, I guess. It's just always been a part of my life, which is so sad, but again, another reason why I want that to change. I don't want that to be my life anymore. I don't know if I said everything. But that's just a brief understanding of my story with anorexia. I'm slightly concerned that I'm running out of storage on my memory card. Okay, really simple one. How old are you? 19 years old. My birthday is the 5th of September 2004. Okay, I've been talking for like 45 minutes, so I'm gonna finish this one with my top 5 recovery learnings. And I might do a part 2 because I have so many here. Like, I have loads of questions. So I might do a part 2. Top 5 recovery learnings. 1, that fear of weight gain that I had, the result wasn't as scary as I thought it was gonna be. You know what I mean? I was terrified of gaining weight, absolutely terrified. I knew that was gonna happen. My memory card ran out of storage, but I've just thrown loads of clips in the bin. Anyway, back to the whole 5 top things. My fear of weight gain was irrational because the result of it was not as scary as I thought it was gonna be. I thought I'd literally wake up every morning and be like, I hate myself, I hate my body, blah, blah. And yes, there was an initial period of this where that would be what I would think all the time. But now, take this day out of it, like today is an anomaly day. Normally, I love my body now. I think, oh my God, my legs are so strong. Look at what my body can do now. Like, I can hold a handstand for ages, and I couldn't do that before because I wasn't strong enough. And it's okay to not have a completely flat stomach, and it's okay if my legs are bigger than they were. It's okay. I am human. So yeah, that's one learning, that weight gain was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay, my second recovery learning would be that food is not to be feared. I have all of these fear foods, and every single time that I have challenged one, nothing bad has happened. Nothing. The world didn't end. My body didn't even change. Nothing changed. Because food is food. Food is fuel. My brain used to tell me that I would eat a pizza and, oh my God, I'd look completely different. And I didn't change. Nothing changed. You know the one thing that changed? This. I got freer. One step closer to freedom every time. No food is to be feared. And no food is going to hurt you. And no food is going to hurt you as much as your eating disorder will. Number 3, probably just like overall energy levels. And like actually being able to be happy. Because you know that the first thing to go, when your body is deprived of energy, the first thing that goes is your happiness. If your body is trying to save energy, that's something that can go. If your body is fighting to stay alive and trying to save as much energy as possible from leaving, happiness, there's no energy for that. We don't have any energy for that. There's no time, there's no space. But as soon as I started recovery and started actually fueling myself, my happiness came back. I was happy again. And when I was little, I was always known as the smiliest child, the smiliest baby. Megan was just the one with the massive smile. And look, she's back. I'm so much happier than I was before. And I would never have thought that was possible. I thought that recovery would just make me sadder and sadder because I just hate myself. Complete opposite. I hated myself before and now I love myself and I'm happy. Who would have thought? Oh, leading on to that, this can be number 4. I'm so much nicer as a person. I'm kinder. I am less irritable. I can just actually like deal with people. Like before, everything would annoy me. I had the shortest fuse. I was just not nice to be around. I was completely fixated on food, exercise, calories, body image, all of that. I didn't have time to be nice. My poor family. I hope that I'm kind of redeeming myself, but I was awful. I was horrible to live with. Now that I'm in recovery, I have the energy and I'm kind. I'm a nice person. And my family relationships have improved so much. Okay, number 5. Extreme hunger is real. I tell you, it is real. And the only way to overcome it is to honour it. And I read a book by Tabitha Farah. It's called Rehabilitate, Rewire, Recover. You need to read it. It's very, very good. I actually brought it with me. It's in my flat right now. Extreme hunger is real and it's a biological response to food deprivation. Didn't know that. And basically the only way to get rid of it is to actually listen to your body and honour it because it's your body's way of telling you that it's hungry and it needs more fuel. So there's no need to feel guilty for it. You need to honour it. Otherwise it's just going to stay forever. Unless your body asking for more food. So go get that food. I'm going to do another one because I think number 3 and 4 were kind of similar in terms of energy levels to be happy and energy levels to be kind. Just the main thing that I've learned is just the opportunities that recovery gives you. And I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and recovery has taught me that. Since choosing it, my life has just suddenly been directed down this route. I suddenly got into drama school. I suddenly found the perfect flat. I'm able to make videos like this and help other people. And I hope that that continues. Just the way that the world has suddenly opened up. It feels like my life has just suddenly began. All because I chose recovery. So that's like the main thing. Just how much better my life is now. And how proud Megan a year ago would be of Megan now. I'm going to say goodbye now. I will make a part 2, I think, at some point, because there are lots more questions to cover. And the sun is setting, so I probably should stop talking, because as I said, it's getting dark. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you so much love. Just know that recovery is worth it. I'm here for you. And if you're still in that mental place of feeling stuck and trapped, just know that there is a better life out there. I can promise you that. Because I'm living it. I promise. I promise. But yeah, look after yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Show yourself some love. Look in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful. And I will see you soon. Love you.